I heard you were getting hard. Hello, stream. We're here now.
I will say that the latest chapter of The Wandering Inn was excellent, and I will say no more because it'd be spoilers. But I will say that the slice of life portions of The Wandering Inn are A, quite common, and B, some of the more enjoyable parts, because, like, you can't all be depressing people dying stuff all the time,
It could be.
I mean, the grimdark hits better for the light existing or something.
So, does anyone know if our resident late person will be late?
I have not heard from her. Her sleep schedule has been fucked for the last month. So
I feel like it applies to the last year. Well, that's unfortunate.
No, it is fucked compared to what it used to be.
She was on time the last time we played. I distinctly remember it because it was a surprise.
So I am currently going through my notes trying to figure out where I can, not to railroad you guys, but basically where I can take you that it's not going to be a slaughter, and also not...
You mean when there's three of us?
Right. And also not... Because, obviously, you guys, your next plan was to go to see the wizard with Tarek, but Tarek's not here, and you don't want to do his hook when he's not here.
See, the good thing is, as a GM, not only can you make anything up, but we won't remember what happened a month ago, so you can literally make everything up.
And level 3 spells will carry us. We're gonna fireball, spirit guardians, and that'll be enough for...
Oh yeah, I'll take level 5. Let's go.
I need another 2 or 3 minutes, and I'll be right back. Conveniently,
Yeah, I'm
while we
throwing
wait.
a pizza in the oven while you do that. I can hear you because I have a wireless headset, but
I just finished my dinner.
not at my computer.
I may have been talking with my mouth full at one point there. I apologize. So let's talk about Genshin Impact, since all of you can't hear me or can't respond to mute me.
I can respond.
Oh, unfortunate. There goes that plan. So, like I said, Genshin Impact had a new island country released. It's quite good.
Is this basically like Pokemon regions? Is that how this works?
Sure. But basically, basically it's split up into countries. So, the first country is kind of like Germany, and then the second country was like China, and now we're in Japan. And so the best parts of the game are climbing cliffs and trying to find various treasure chests and, hidden objects and completing, hidden quests and stuff like that. And well, they've added some of that slowly over the past year that the game's come out. This is their first extra large content dump, and basically since release, it's easily two times the largest content they've had previously. And they've had maybe 3 sort of temporary content ads before this, so it's quite expensive, and it's and that's even including the fact that it's split in half. They only give us 3 of the 6 islands to start for the first 6 weeks or whatever. So there's a lot of stuff to do, and like I said, the best part of the game is exploring and finding all the nooks and crannies and whatnot. So if you, I don't know, we're interested in playing the game, this they added more of the best parts of the game rather than just, oh look, endless grind for characters you can't afford because they're fucking expensive and gotcha bullshit.
My problem with that game is that I have played gotcha games before, and I ended up spending more money than I would have liked to on them, and so I can't play another. It's impossible.
I admit that when it first came out, I spent more than I should have, and then since then I've strictly limited myself to they have the basically a monthly subscription, and I limit myself to that, and that's worked out well. I've skipped a bunch of characters where it's I've like basically once my I had enough characters where like I felt like my team was good. I was like, all right, because I overspent, and then now it's like, oh, I look at these characters, I'm like, I don't need that. Like that's okay. It does a neat thing, but that thing isn't necessarily better than what my team currently does, and I don't need it to clear the content or anything like that, or not that I ever did, but
Yeah. If there was a way to like flag your account as subscription only, you have the subscription, they get this amount per month, and that's all you get, and this is what you pay, and you can't buy more, I'd be down. But
George, do you need an adult in your life?
seriously,
I
don't
do.
we all?
I get the feeling though. Temptation is strong, and money is easy to throw away.
Indeed.
Like, I'm one of the more fiscally responsible people I know, and I still could use someone to say, no, don't spend money on this stupid shit. Wait for that game to go on stale on Steam.
Yep. Problem I had.
Or play modded games that are fucking like free. I mean, the mod is free.
Like Minecraft.
Exactly. It's like a $20 game or some shit, and then you get thousands of hours for it. Because people make you the game for free.
To me eat a nectarine.
I know that's why like RimWorld has been good. Like, I've got enough time in RimWorld that even though I feel the expansion's overpriced for what it adds, it's like fine. It's RimWorld. There are enough mods for that add enough value to that game that I've played enough hours in it that I sort of just say, this money is not for this expansion. This mod is just for the or this money is just for the enjoyment you've brought me over the last year or so. That said, my Total War DLC buying, that's just addiction.
I mean, on the one hand, at least you do get a reasonable amount of content for that cost most of the time. It's not like gacha game buying where you're buying rolls.
Yeah, there's a lot of evil in the world, but gacha games rank up there pretty high.
I gotta say, like in Azure Lane, I basically don't spend money besides the monthly pass, and I have like, from the time I started playing, I'm like 95+% collection. Right? You can get really close to 100% without spending money. I mean, if you're lucky, you can even hit 100%. There's nothing like super, preventing you, but you probably do have to be like top 25+ percentile luck to hit 100%.
Genshin Impact definitely not. Like if you just buy like the monthly pass,
yeah, like even if you're like top 1 percentile luck, right? You're never gonna do it.
Yeah. Because like you can get like 1 5-star, whatever the rare character is, per like patch cycle, except that you only have a 50% chance of that being like the new limited one.
And like you guys, Genshin Impact actually has like a game to play. Azure Lane does not. I mean, there's like this, ship shooting mini game, whatever, mini Toho, but it's honestly pretty simple. I mean, I don't know if you love Toho.
Don't actually. Although I will say that, like, if my phone ever ran, oh look, Knight is mentioning talking. If my phone ran it when it came out, I might have played it. But
when it came out, you mean Azure Lane or Toho? Because there weren't phones when that came out. Well, there weren't smartphones when that came out.
No, I've never had a phone that was capable of running Azure Lane, so fair. I thankfully dodged that bullet. Although I did play some Fire Emblem Heroes, and I spent more money on that game than I should have, that's for sure, which is to say any money at all.
How about Fire Emblem 3 Houses was pretty good. Yep. I've been meaning to go back and replay that since all the DLC came out.
Same. I never even finished my first campaign, actually. Like, I made a few battles past the time skip, and I was like... And then, I don't know, something else came out, and then I never went back to it.
I played all the routes once, except the new one. I think there's a new one. And the last 2 runs were on like the difficulty that was patched in after, and the game still felt too easy. I don't know. My one complaint about that game, it was too easy. But like in a game where you have you have characters with personalities and permadeath, I see why they would err on the side of making it easy. And the other time you get 8 fucking rewinds per mission, so make it a little harder so I can use my rewinds. Like, you put save scumming as part of the game, so let me like use that.
It's true. Plus, like, there was characters that had like super long range or were highly mobile and had long range and stuff like that. So it was, I don't want to say it was easier than past Fire Emblems, but I mean, that helps because like it was totally possible to like one-shot enemies from outside like any possible range of retaliation in a lot of missions. Not always, because they had like the spawn behind you bullshit in some, and sometimes the enemies are just too goddamn numerous. But in quite a few missions, it was like totally possible to like whittle down enemies.
I mean, it was quite easy to like just solo missions. I don't know, like I forget what that ability was. The white magic ability that healed you for like half of the damage you dealt. You literally put that on someone, and then you give them enough damage to one-shot people, and then they get attacked, take 20 damage, nuke the other guy, and heal that 20 damage back. And then they solo the map until they run out of AP or whatever the points are to cast it. Like, oh, well, this was hard.
I mean, usually there's at least one enemy that like counters you hard enough that you don't get a retaliation or kills you, but maybe not always.
My strategy with that was Lysithea, right? The chick with like the
oh yeah, she's super OP.
super OP casting stat, but like negative defense.
Yeah,
you train her defense stats to make her the like the super defense class, because when you train the class, you get certain minimums. Like you get a minimum of X defense, even if your defense is at 3, which I think is her starting defense. So like you train that, you don't train her offense because she has enough just by casting her spells, and then yeah, she just tanks everything and kills the whole map, and it's kind of hilarious.
I will say she is definitely the I don't know if she's the most OP character in the game, but she's definitely the easiest character to make OP.
She is extremely good, yes.
She's definitely a glass cannon without stuff like that, I suppose. I just left her a glass cannon.
I mean, the other OP thing is all the flying classes. Especially the female flying classes. The dudes kind of suck at flying relative to the girls, but
I assume the female ones have Gale Force. I don't remember specifically in 3 horses.
I forget what the difference was. It was Wyvern Lord for the guys versus like Pegasus or something for the girls. But like I think it was a weapon choice. The one has like spears and one has axes, and axes suck compared to spears or something like that. I don't remember. I think the Pegasus has had like an extra point of mobility.
Again, I don't remember 3 houses specifically, but generally speaking, female flyers have higher magic defense and use spears, so it tracks with what I would expect.
All right, so what do we want to do? If Nightglow is stepping out of the campaign, then that means we're only missing one. I'm going to have to adjust some encounters and things like that. But that's okay.
Oh, what a convenient way to only be missing one person.
Yes. So we have a couple of options. Option 1 is we play. I've got kind of a hook here that is definitely doable by 3 people without any kind of like combat editing or anything like that. Or I can not present that hook and we can just go about as scheduled. It's up to you guys.
I feel like that's up to you as DM. You haven't really given us information to help us make a decision.
Well, option 1 is, do we want to play?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, we do want to play.
That's why we're here, right?
I do.
Unless Lackeys is vehemently in the no category.
I am in the I would be okay not playing, just if we're gonna play with 4 PCs, just be like, well, let's play with Raven next time and make a fresh start of kind of thing. Like, I'm not hardcore advocating for that, but like I'd be okay with sort of us, giving us a week to adapt to the new reality of things or whatever, rather than like playing with 3 and then Raven jumps in and is like, oh, a lot of shit has changed.
I guess the question
Right.
is, as you said, we don't really want to do Raven's thing without him because that seems wrong. So I don't mind personally being railroaded a bit if we wanted to do something that can be done with 3 players that isn't Raven's thing. But it really depends on if you have something that fits that description.
I mean, I do. I haven't like prepared it, but like it's already prepared through Roll20, so I can kind of do it blind. Because to recap, to remind you guys, you basically had 2 options at this point. I mean, really, you could do whatever you want, but the 2 hooks that you guys were considering were doing Raven's thing, which is going to go see that wizard. The other option that you guys did have that I don't think you guys had a whole lot of interest when you went and talked to Duvesta Shane. There was a letter from Relix Steele something, I don't remember his name now, who was the leader of the goblins requesting help at the Goblin City.
I vaguely remember that. There's some known who's king of the goblins.
Yes. So that was also an option. That being said, I wouldn't suggest going into that with 3 people.
So the goblins, and what was the other thing that might work with 3 people? Other than Ravens, or was there not one?
That is one that I would have to introduce here.
I see.
So an option I would consider is we could travel to Raven's thing, and assuming there's not like a story point like planned along the way, when we arrive outside the tower, just stop and wait, and then like next session we'll be like, hey, we made it to the tower successfully, Raven. We fought some barbarians or something on the way or whatever we encounter, and then we just next session we're primed to go straight into the action of what we want to be in the meat and potato.
Put an easy combat encounter there as a convenient excuse to get to level 5.
I think we're pretty far from level 5, to be honest. But,
you're not going to be level 5.
Alas.
I will say that our party balance is slightly off with Night quitting because she was like our ranged DPS source, and now we have
big old damn
3 frontliners and CC.
Another option, I don't know if anybody has anybody that's been like dying to play, but I don't mind introducing another PC at this point. Like, I don't know if like Annie was interested, or if
she very well might be, considering the other campaign has not played in a while.
Right. So that's an
although
option
I'm
as
really
well.
I want to do that fucking dungeon though.
I do. That dungeon is so good.
So it's got to happen eventually.
So that's an option as well. Is if we wanted to like ask around and place our feelers out and get a character, I don't mind working with somebody to get a character up to speed. That just kind of
I spent all my mojo getting Raven to join the campaign.
I'm slightly in favor of 4 people over 5, but like the difference is negligible. I don't have a 5th person. I'm not opposed, but I cannot contribute, is my conclusion here.
The Lackey's suggestion of we start headed towards the Raven thing, and whatever we learn /do along the way is today, and then we're just there for next time. Wouldn't be bad. I'd be down for that. If it means we'd have to end early, that's fine too. We can pick up for reals with Raven next week.
That is something that I don't want to do for reasons.
Fair.
So if that is the plan, then I would say we just don't play today. You guys are still sleeping at Bryn Shander, and we leave it at that.
That is fine.
Exceptionally long nap.
A very long hibernation.
Womp womp. But okay.
Unfortunately, I think it's been so long that our campaigns have been, or our sessions have been delayed. If you don't have inspiration, you can have it for showing up today.
I already had inspiration.
I think everybody has inspiration because I've done that before.
I do have it.
And then I guess we will just continue. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we go out of our way to try to introduce somebody to the campaign. But if it was something like Annie wanted to play, or we had like a friend that wanted to play, not like I've played with this person once before, I think that would be okay. But it's not like we need to fill this spot or else.
I actually generally agree with Jimmy's take on 4 being pretty ideal. Much like with that other campaign where we only have 3, I feel like when you get much above 3, and 5 is some significant amount
5 is
of
a lot.
you end up doing less, and people are, because they do less, are less engaged with it.
I agree.
So, I don't mind doing 4.
I think 4 is obviously the sweet point. I think D&D is, I don't want to say balanced around 4, but like definitely 4 lets you like have everything covered and have everyone have like, you know, their niche and be good at something, and you know, I don't know.
All right. So hear me out. Drock Munchkin makes an audible, and he switches straight to being an artillerist suddenly. Yeah? No? Okay.
I mean,
if that is something that you want to do, seriously, because you guys did lose a pretty big damage dealer, and you guys have chosen your stuff based on having X amount of people and these types of people. If you do want to change your subclass, I'm okay with that. Just think about it and let me know. I don't want people switching from like artificer to warlock and things like that, because that makes everything really weird. But if you wanted to change your subclass, I would be okay with that.
I'm only sort of maybe a little bit interested in doing that, but possibly. So,
give it a thought, and
like I am not unhappy with what I have now, but as pointed out, we do end up having basically just like a whole
our
lot
party
of
feels a little lopsided.
melee.
Yes.
There we go. Now I have stats I want to use. Can I make a new character with those stats?
Oh, you just gonna make a new character?
No. I just wanted to hit my ability stats button until I had a good set.
Jimmy really enjoys rolling stats, as we found out. Mostly because he's good at it, unlike some of us.
Must be nice.
So that's that then.
So I can talk about the latest chapter of The Wandering Inn, not in terms of its content, but this was one of the chapters that was professionally edited by a professional editor, and included in the chapter was the editing, the notes from the editor about like the changes and that they wanted to have made to the chapter to make it better. And it was actually quite insightful. Like the previous chapter that had been professionally edited was like all like grammar changes and stuff like that, which, you know, I don't want to say anyone could do, but like is like the lowest form of editing, I imagine. But like this one, like the editor was quite good about not targeting like specific things that were wrong with like individual paragraphs, but rather general advice that when applied to the chapter overall made it like 3 times better than it was, because she also posted the original version of the chapter. So the changes made were dramatically better, like because the chapter involves a lot of like triggering type stuff, you know, like rape and suicide, etc. And so the way that like the editor had them move away from like, you know, the rape aspect and that sort of thing into a more subtle corruption of the character on like an emotional level was quite good, and made the chapter more engaging overall and less triggering overall, although obviously still so much of traumatic shit happened. So
All right, I'm gonna cut Lackeys off there real quick to wrap up the stream real quick, because today's session is canceled. Sorry about that for those of you that are here. I will still be playing XCOM2. I'm gonna schedule another stream for that probably at about 5. So in like 30 minutes. Because I mean, I'm still eating. I kind of was planning on eating through D&D, and then we'll play XCOM after. So in 30 minutes, I'll put up another stream, and we'll be starting XCOM there. So, hey Kinu, see you in 30 minutes. Sorry about this. Our D&D game's kind of having some attendance issues. All right, see you in 30 minutes. Cool, bye.